So I always relate it to them. And you know, I don't give the same answer for everyone, because if it's a busy mom, then I'm going to talk about how the shake can be convenient. If it's someone who's in the gym, okay, it's protein based. If it's someone who wants to gain weight, okay, you know, use it as a snack or add extra stuff to it. Like, I just try to tailor it to their lifestyle. But you don't know that unless you ask questions. You know, that's why it's important to say, you know, yeah, go through your script, but ask them, like, what are your goals? Like, what are you trying to achieve? And then you tailor it to that. And for people who say, well, I'm not a shake person, because that was me. Because I was like, I'm not drinking your shake. Because I go ahead and tackle those objections early in my story. I'm like, hey, if you're looking for something that doesn't have an aftertaste, that's not gritty, something, you know, if you don't have IBS, or, you know, try it for 30 days, then this is for you. So because I'm tackling those objections in my stories, I don't get them a lot on the back end, because I'm saying it. Like, you know, I'm saying, hey, if you don't like vanilla, we got chocolate. If you don't like chocolate, we got strawberry. If you want to mix it up. And I said, okay, well, if you don't like shakes, do you like smoothies? Yeah, okay, you can turn it into a smoothie. Add you some ice, add you some frozen fruit, you got a smoothie. You make it how you want to make it. So I just tailor it to them. But I don't get that a lot, again, because I tackle those objections in my stories. And when people say, well, it costs too much, in my stories, I say, you know, how much you spend at Amazon this month? Like, when was the last time you went in Target to get toothpaste and you came out with a bedroom set? Like, we have to, like, start taking audit over what we're spending our money on before we're so quick to say we don't have it. No, you probably do have it, but you're spending it on other things, on quick fixes, you know, on those things that give you temporary satisfaction. And so you don't know these people you're talking to, so you can't, like, call them out like that when you're talking to them in a message. But if you're watching my story, it's free game. You're in my house. So if you're watching, I'm going to say what I want to say. So in my stories, I say that, you know, and I'll say it's all in love, but you know, yeah.
So good. I mean, it's really just addressing those objections publicly, like out loud. These are the objections people have, and you're just constantly addressing those, which is so smart. Okay. So at Leadership, I was blown away. And you talked a lot about mentoring your coaches. Can you speak a little bit on that?
Oh, I love my coaches. Okay, but let me tell you this. In the beginning, I was a hand holder. Y'all, I was like calling people like, hey, did you invite today? Like, you know, they told me their why, and I wore it on my shoulder. You know, their why became mine, and I just wanted it so bad for them. And I couldn't wrap my mind around, like, hey, if I came in this business and hit the ground running, why can't you? You know, like, I didn't have a fitness background. I wasn't on social media like that. Like, why can't you do this? And so for many years, I was so frustrated with coaches, because I'm like, you said you wanted to do this. Why are you not doing this? You know, like, it's a million people in the world. You can't help 3? Like, come on. So, you know, in the beginning, it was hard. Then I said, you know what? I have to find my joy, and I have to limit the coaches I expose myself to that just don't want to work. And I got to call it for what it is. You know, like, if a coach isn't showing up to the team call, and I don't necessarily gauge it on Success Club, because you don't know what people are going through. You know, life is happening right now, and you don't know what people are going through. And so but can you at least show up to the team call? You know, can you at least show up to the power hour? Can you at least go through your tracker? Like, what can we do to help you? So I don't hold their hand now. I love on them. I let them know that I'm here. You can approach me. I have different messengers set up. So I have a new coach messenger. I have a diamond messenger. And then my whole team is set up in Telegram. I don't know if you guys have heard of Telegram, but my whole entire downline is set up in Telegram. So we say good morning. We put the notes like, hey, what's working for you? Hey, I need some love on this post. Hey, it's Saturday. What y'all doing? I really want to create that community, but I also recognize that it is business, and I'm not going to water dead plants, right? I can't make you a grown woman. We do what we want to do. We find time for what we want to find time for. So if you don't want to do this, I love you, you know, but I got a team to build. And you can't allow, like, your emotions and your feelings to get in the way of the life you're trying to create for your family, you know, for your kids, for your grandparents, for your future kids. Not everybody is going to be you, and you can't expect you and other people. That's the thing. We expect us and everybody else. So when they're not doing it, you start to question yourself as a leader, as a coach. Am I good enough? Yes, you're good enough. That's on them. They don't want to work. Go find some more people. You know, our team, we have our team call. We sit and chat. We trip out. We laugh. We have power hours set up through the week at 2 o'clock and 9 o'clock, just to kind of cater to the women who are home during the day and the one at night. I don't do them all. We have leaders on the team. I'm like, hey, who's going to do it? If nobody steps up, and there's been times where none of my leaders have said anything, okay, we'll have a power hour. Y'all will know next week to step up. Like, I'm not, like, you can't do everything. And as a newer coach, I did everything. And I burned out. Like, I went from being so excited about this business to being like, oh, I'm the only one out of all these girls that want to work. But once you just give that to them and let them know, like, pour that belief in them, like, hey, I am at Diamond, you can be Diamond too. You know, like, I'm at 2-star, you can do it too. And so I started giving them daily tasks, like, hey, who wants to do the power hour? Who wants to speak up on tonight's team call? Because they're scared too. Just because they hit Diamond doesn't mean, oh, I feel like a boss, I feel like a leader. No, they just signed up 12 people. So you got to kind of nurture them into that role. Does that make sense? Another thing that I do is I encourage my coaches, you know, read your personal development book, but read it 2 or 3 times. Because sometimes, you know, when you read it the first time versus the second time, you're maybe in a different position to receive it differently. Like, you ever heard something, but then you heard it again and it was a totally different message, or you caught something you didn't catch the first time. So just like your Bible, like, highlight, as my coach Keisha says, become one with the book, you know, and don't be on to the next book. As a new coach, I could be dead in a book. I'm talking about in it. Well, not really in it, because on Audible, right? And then someone would say, oh, this is a good book. I close that book and go run into the next one before I got what I needed out of the first one. And if your team is saying, hey, read this book, but it's not for you, if it's not feeding you for where you are in your life right now, that book is not for you. You got to, like, recognize what your struggles are and then find something that's going to be aligned to that. If you're struggling with confidence, you need to read a book on confidence. If you know, time management, that needs to be your book. If you're struggling with leadership, you need to be reading about leadership. Like, you got to find what's going to work for you. Same thing with National Wake Up Call. I tell my coaches, listen to it throughout the week, not just on Monday. Because on Monday, you're like excited, your team got recognized, the kids are running around, you're catching bits and pieces. But if you listen to it every morning at the same time, you hear something different. And then on Saturdays, we have what's called our Hip Hop Saturday, where we invite prospects, friends, and family to our workout. So we get on a Zoom, we pretty much put it out in our stories on Thursdays and Fridays and say, hey, if you want the access link, reach out. Okay, we put it in our hype group, which is basically our launch group for our programs. And so we do MBF on Saturday. But what we do is we mute Megan and we turn on our music, our own little playlist. And then one of my coaches, Keisha, calls the workout. And it's fun. And we have our friends and our family and prospects. And then at the end, she'll say, hey, you know, if you enjoyed this workout, please get with the coach who invited you so you can be a part of this with us daily. Because what we do is we have a Zoom workout at 6 a.m., 7, 9, 12, and 7 p.m. There is a coach that's going to be in the Zoom room at those times so you don't feel alone. So you have that. And that's for customers. That's for customers and the entire downline. And then on Saturday, they look forward to that workout on Saturdays. And it's at 10 o'clock every Saturday, and then it's one and done. And then we take a picture, and then we tell our prospects, our family and friends, hey, take this picture, take a sweaty selfie, tag the coach who invited you, right? Because now they're putting it out there, and they're getting used to sharing. And then, you know, people want to come back, but we limit it to like 2, because you can't have your family member getting a free workout every single Saturday. It's like, this is a business at the end of the day. But that's some of the things that I do with my coaches.
All things so good. So a couple questions about what is Telegram? Do you have your discount coaches in it as well? And then my second kind of question to everything you just said is, what kind of expectations do you set with a brand new coach? Because you definitely don't handhold. Do you set those expectations like right from the beginning, or what's your communication with them?
Hold on, Sydney. That's too many questions at once.
Okay, sorry. First do the Telegram one. First Telegram,
Okay.
and do you invite your discount coaches to it?
Okay. So Telegram, it's an app, and you give your team the link, and they're all in it. You can post pictures, GIFs. It's like a big messenger, and it's free. I don't put discount members in there because we're talking about business too. So I don't discount the discount. Like, I love on the discount coaches. Like, hey, come to the workout. You can come every Saturday. You're in the group, but that's just for team stuff. You know, it's just for team stuff. Is there any other questions about Telegram chat? That was it, right?
I think that was it. That's good.
Yeah.
And then the next question was expectations. Like what do you say to a brand new coach to set those expectations? Like, I'll run with you type of thing. I won't handhold. What does that look like?
I don't say a lot.
Okay.
And I have a few new coaches on here. I don't say hardly anything. I send them the welcome email. I send them the link to the Telegram chat. I let them know about the call on Monday. I let them know about the groups. And then I set at the stage where they come to me. Like, if you really want to do this, come to me. Like, and I also provide a Calendly link. So I don't wait till they hit Success Club to have access to me. Like, you want to talk, let's talk. But you got to put in some work. I'm not going to say, hey, can we meet? Well, what time is better for you? Like, no, like, skin in the game. Here's the Calendly link. You have access to me through the Telegram chat, through the workouts. And I tell new coaches, if you don't feel connected and you feel out of place, go into the team page, go in the search bar, type in your name. How many posts have you made? You know, like, when was the last time you got on a team call and asked questions? When was the last time you showed up? Did you show up to the Saturday workout? You know, like, even though we have power hours, we have work sessions throughout the day. I may say, hey, like, one of my coaches, Alicia, she's good for saying, hey, 9:00, we're jumping on Zoom if anybody wants to work. You know, hey, 8:00, we're jumping on Zoom if anybody wants to work. 2:00. So I'm providing all these resources because really my job is only to provide you with the tools and resources and tell you you can do it. That's it. Everything else, I'm going to meet you halfway. And so I say that in my email too. Like, I'm going to meet you where you are. And so I also have a new coach mentorship chat in Instagram. I say, good morning. How y'all doing? Some coaches respond. Some coaches don't. The ones that do, I may pay a little bit more attention because you're talking back and forth with me. Maybe like a month in, I'll send an email and say, hey, just checking on you. Here's the Calendly link if you want to schedule a call with me. But just know the call is not for me to motivate you. It's to figure out how I can help you move your business forward. So there's like a fun tea and then there's a business tea, right? But like, okay, we can have fun, but I'm trying to get the boulder over the hill for you. Like, I'm trying to get the momentum going, but you got to work. Like, I have kids. I've gone from 3 to 5. You know, there's 5 kids here. And so I don't am remote learning. I'm an Uber driver, a chef, custodian, everything. So, you know, I'm at a point where I can't, you know, we have power hours, and all the power hours that other people have, they're recorded and they're in a units in my team page. As far as know someone's going to ask about a new coach getting started right call, don't do them. I've done a video that shows how to get to Emerald, new coach call, and it's in the units. That way, if you sign up on a Tuesday, you don't have to wait for me for another week to get started. You can sign up, go into the units, and the unit says new coaches start here. It has the calendar for the month that lets them know what's happening on every day. It has a new coach call. It has a whole section on how to get to Emerald, how to enroll your spouse, how to, you know, what you need to do and why. Then it has, okay, you got into Emerald. This is how you get to Diamond. There's a units on nothing but power hours. There's a unit on trackers because everybody don't use the same tracker. You know, like, one person may look at a tracker and say, oh, this is me. And someone else like, okay, that's too much. So I have like 8 different trackers for them to choose from, right? So there's a section for trackers. There's a section for invites, program-specific invites, family invites, response to IG, like all the invites you can think of, different type of scripts. I have a section on how to handle objections where it has nothing but responses on how to handle objections. I have a section on how do you work Instagram. So literally everything is there for them. And I say that in my stories, like, hey, everything is laid out for you. There's no guesswork. You just got to come in and work. And so I attract those type of people because I talk about it in my stories too.
So smart, very organized too. Are these units on your team page or in a separate Facebook group?
So I have them in a team page. And then for those who aren't familiar with Facebook, I have it set up in ThinkyFit. So you can access the training. You can't say, well, I don't have Facebook. Well, first off, get Facebook. Like for people like, well, what if they don't have Facebook? Tell them to get Facebook. They don't have to go add the preacher and their grandma. Just go get Facebook for the training, right? So I have it set up in Facebook, but I also have it set up in ThinkyFit for those who just don't do Facebook like that. And in ThinkyFit, it's the same. It's the same thing.
Perfect. Okay, best leadership book if you are a hand holder. I think we have a lot of hand holders on this call. I guess what's your best book, and then how do you recommend like getting out of that? Because I do think we are tied to so many emotions with our coaches. How do you kind of transition to just kind of leave the emotion out of it?
Well, I'm big on affirmations. Okay. So I would say it out loud. I would not hold their hand. I would not hold their hand. And one of the things that, I say, my daily mantra that I say every day is I am attracting working star diamond coaches who are approaching me about the opportunity. That's what I say like every single day. And one of the books that I love is John C. Maxwell, Leadership. Really good book. And if you watch my stories, when I go through the book, I actually highlight and I'll write stuff and put it in my stories. So I'm also like giving them a sneak peek to how I coach and what I expect out of my coaches in my stories from the book. So I do that. Most of everything else is on Audible. But this is my favorite book, and The Super Tractor is one of my, favorite books. But when I was starting out and I had that doubt, Mel Robbins, The 5-Second Rule, that really helped me. But I just had to tell myself, like, when you handhold them, you think that you're helping them, but you're actually being a disservice to them. You're enabling them. Like if something happened to you today or your kid and you had to just step away for a week and they've depended on you all this time, you're up the creek without a paddle. Like at that point, your coaches don't know what to do without you. And you have to create that stage where you're like, hey, y'all got this. You can do this by yourself. It just takes some time.
Definitely. Okay, so you have your units for getting started. Do you do any pods or different type of like push to diamond groups and then diamond to 2-star groups, or what does that look like?
Yeah, so at maybe like 3 months ago, we were at 1-star and we got to 9 through a push. We did a push group. We did a diamond push group. But here's the thing with the groups, like don't put all your eggs in basket with those groups. Like, because people will be like, raw, I'm ready. And then when it gets hard and those no's start to come, they kind of fade out. But I do like to push and I do like to team up with other coaches. My coach is really good for that, for doing the push groups. And we now do it in the Facebook Messenger pod. Just keep it very simple because, we're moms, we're working, like we don't have time to be connected all day. So it's like, hey, drop your tracker. Here's your manual. This is what you do. Right? But if you're hitting Success Club, I just tell people diamond's super easy. Like you hit Success Club, that's 3. You do it again, that's 3 until you get to 12. Right? I think some of us put this huge emphasis on diamond. First off, when you get to diamond, your money doesn't really change. Do y'all know that? Okay. It doesn't really change that much, but you can't get to 2-star without getting to diamond. And you can't open a second business center until you get to 2-star. And so diamond is more so like a mindset rank. Because if you can get to diamond, you can show somebody else how to do it. Or somebody else. And then that's 2-star. So I like to think of it as a mindset rank. I don't put a whole lot of emphasis on emerald. It's 2 people. Like if I told you, hey, if you can get 2 people to sign up, I would pay for you a cruise. Well, maybe not a cruise right now because of COVID. But that's not a good example. But if you went and signed up 2 people, I would gift you with $1,000 from Amazon. Do you know how fast people will get 2 people to sign up? Okay. So I don't put emphasis on emerald too. Like you need to open your business. You want residual income. This is the only way to do it. Like it's like not up for negotiation.
I 100% agree. I think just really making 2-star the biggest goal from the beginning is so smart. Okay, so let's shift the focus kind of to your challenge groups. What do they look like? What do you have going in there to keep people alive and keep people on their program? Are they monthly? Are they just continually? And then also, do you let your team in there, or do they have to run their own?
Oh, they so dead. I'm just kidding. They used to be until I met a girl on Etsy. All right, so my challenge groups, I used to run one every month, like cleared out, y'all, just doing the most. Now I have a team group, a team fit camp, and then I have a program specific fit camp on Facebook, also on Bod, right? Y'all got to start using Bod. So I have it. I feel like I speak differently. I'm on the coach advisory board now. And so before I was like, I'm not using BOD. And I'm like, oh, this is important. You got to use BOD, people. Shameless plug. So I have the teammate fit camp, right? So that's like, I tell my coaches, like, you don't have to feel pressured to start your own group. But this first month, you can get in the team group, because some people, they just like, what am I going to do with these people? I don't want them to feel that pressure. Like, I think we try to make people into us too fast. And so I'm like, hey, don't worry about that part. Right now, I just want you to worry about getting your people and getting them to the fit camp. But I do tell them it probably would work better if you do your own or team up with somebody in the group. So we have the pod. If they wanted to, they could easily reach out to another girl and say, hey, you want to run a group together? And then I tell them their first month, I will give you my resources that I use for posting. So I go on Etsy and purchase like a challenge group thing from a girl. Or, you know, there's Pixar and Hewitt, Mompreneur, those things. Work smarter, not harder, right? So I go and I'll tell them, hey, this is what I use. And I give it to them the first time. All right. And then after that, it's like you can go and do your own, but most people don't. We really have a community. Like, it's not really about, hey, you know, you got to go be a leader. It's just like, we're kind of doing this together. And when you're ready, it doesn't take anything away from me for you to put your people in this fit camp, but you got to show up. So you got to comment under your people's posts. You know, you got to post. My posts are scheduled. And then I have an MBF group, which is just MBF people. Okay. And then same thing on BOD. And then one of my coaches have a smaller group that's more nutrition focused. It's just really nutrition focused. Like they're on this strict plan AAU, ultimate portion fix. Like, one of my coaches, she's down like 22 pounds in like a month, and they're just really strict. I'm not about that life, but for those that are, they're in that group. So there's something for everybody. And it's continuous. I don't close it down and start. I've had the same fit camp since 2017.
Awesome.
I just changed the banner.
When you let your coaches in there with you, do they help you run it?
So my posts are scheduled. So not necessarily run it, but they do know you gotta post in here. You gotta comment under your people stuff. You're responsible for your people.
Definitely making sure that they're active for sure.
Yeah.
Are you in all the groups if you have customers in every group?
Yeah, I'm in all the groups. So I want to also say this, and I don't know if anybody asks this, like I tell my coaches, this is not a dump. You throw your coaches in there and then have me to do everything. Like you have to do stuff too, because you know you have some coaches like sign people up, dump them off in the fit camp, and they're never in there. I tell them that, but I'm not so strict on it, because at the end of the day, if they're a discount coach, guess what? That volume is still dinging up to me. And so if they're not showing up in the fit camp, most likely they're not gonna last long in the business. And if they quit, that person just gonna come up to me. And I love on everybody in my downline, very deep. So, you know, I have coaches of coaches. I don't know who their direct coach is, but I do consider them like my coach. Like I may not get on a call with them, but I'm like, that's my coach. Even though she's somebody else's coaches, she's still in my downline. She's still my family.
Absolutely. Okay. Do you require customers to have something on HD to be in your groups?
Nope, because life happens.
Life happens.
And you know, and there are some people who they're like shamed that they didn't do what they said they were gonna do. And then I go and check on them and they're like, I just want to let you know I'm working out sometimes, but your posts really do help me get through the day. Like I may not say anything, I may not be active, but I really look forward to your posts. Like, you got to be a go-giver. You know, like if you give and not always expecting, you'll be blessed so much bigger. I feel that way. And so, yeah, you got a business to run, and I'm not giving free business, but you're running a free group. So why are you going to, so I feel like, why am I going to kick people out of this who have once paid into what I had to offer? Because when a new program launched, guess what? Those same people who may not be on HD are probably going to be the first people to get a new challenge pack quicker than someone new, right? When we have something that launches and drops, they're quicker to do it because they're familiar with the process.
Absolutely. And you've built all that trust and loyalty with them too during the process.
And I tell people, I say, girl, you still in the group. For those who totally fell off, and I go back and follow up with, have happy birthday, you know, all those things. And I'm like, girl, I never took you out the group. Like, you're still in the group. And that goes a long way. They're like, oh my God, like, thank you, you know. But I am gonna start a whole new one in January because, you know, it's time.
It's
2017.
I love it. Okay, so this question is from Kimberly. She says she has coaches not showing up. How do you handle that? I've been telling my girls what they need to do, even wrote it in a Google Doc with requirements and expectations, and they still aren't doing it. So I'm booting them to their own groups. What are your thoughts on that?
So coaches that don't show up, that's none of your business. Go find new coaches. You know, like, you put it out there and you have one-on-one. Because I poured my heart into coaches, and before I can get out the door good, a coach cancellation is coming from that coach. I'm like, we just talked. So I've learned not to do that. I'm just really good. And I tell my coaches, they're like, she doesn't want to work. What am I doing? People do what they want to do. You know, I pour belief into them, but after that, you just go find new people, because the energy that you put into coaches that don't want to work, you're taking away from the energy for those that do. And subconsciously, you may not think it does, but it does affect how you invite. When a coach is draining you because you want her to do something and she's not doing it, or your team is just failing and you feel like it's the end of the world, like they can't be replaced, they can be replaced. You know, like, but it does subconsciously affect the way you invite. It affects the way you post. Your confidence isn't there in your stories because you're like, how am I going to talk about being a leader when really in the background, my coaches aren't really doing anything? Okay, well, that's them. Go find some coaches like you. Don't waste time on that. And in that case, for those of you, because I don't want you guys to feel like this is how I do it, okay? But if what's working for you to only have paid customers in your group, do that. You know, it has to sit well with you at night. If, you know, having your coaches start their own fit camp and you guys not do it together, that is completely fine. I think sometimes we get on these calls and it feels like, well, she's at elite, so I'm going to do it how she does it. You really have to do what sits well with you. You know, what makes you happy in this business. And so if you feel like they need to get the boot because they're not contributing and they're not running and they're not showing up, boot them and go find somebody else.
Absolutely. And amen to that. Okay, so challenge groups, we're getting ready to launch 9-week Control Freak. What are your plans to launch this new program?
They're all in my head right now, but I am going to put it on paper. So what I am going to do is, you know, a lot of coaches don't talk about this, but I do believe investing back in your business. You know, you got to have a business mindset. Like, if you started a restaurant, the first 2 or 3 years, you're just breaking even. You're really just pouring into your business. Same thing goes for this. When you make money, that's not for you to go spend it on Target. Figure out ways to pour back and invest in your business. So again, I'm all about working smarter, not harder. I actually go and pay for a launch program. I pay for it. So I'm like, okay, it's $50. Okay, that's the challenge pack. And I pour into my business. And so then I go and I make a hype group on Facebook. Facebook getting kind of funny. Like, they act kind of stink about, you know, when you post, everybody don't see the post. They just real funny acting. So I don't know how I'm going to do it, but usually I have a launch group in Facebook. It's a continuous launch group. So like the first launch might have been, MBF. Then it was 30-day breakaway. And then I changed the banner, but I think I'm going to start a whole new launch group. I pretty much, now I don't handhold, but on launches, I do. On launches, I literally write up the entire script from top to bottom. I have a pre-order form for my coaches to use for their people. And it's so laid out. It's like, hey, You make a post, you get them in the hype group. We post in the hype group. You get them on Saturday's workout. We'll be doing probably some of Autumn's workout. You get them on the Saturday workout, wash, rinse, and repeat. And then you create urgency. Like, this is what we're doing if you want to start on this day. And then for everybody who wants to enroll, we're going to push, hey, go ahead and start as a discount. Go ahead and start right now, because probably, I promise you, you're going to become a walking billboard. You're going to get results, and you're going to want a coach. So you probably just need to go ahead and come into this thing as a coach, be a coach. And I just tell them, a coach doesn't mean you need to be a fitness expert. A coach is saying you lost 9 pounds. Your mom saw you. She was impressed. She signed up with you. You're just an accountability partner. So go ahead and sign up that way. And so I'm just going to push that urgency. We're going to start the second Monday of January. We're going to push it for the first Monday to create urgency. But you know how you like, we start on Monday, we got 3 spots left. We always have 3 spots left, right? But we're like, hey, we're starting on Monday. And then Monday's going to come, and some people haven't enrolled. So then we're going to say, hey, this week was a prep week. You still have time. And then the second Monday of the month is when we're going to kick off.
I love it. I would work for me. I would join in a heartbeat. That sounds so fun. Okay. So what was my next question I was going to ask? Oh, so I just forgot my last question. Okay. Well, I will go to my next question. So weird. Okay. So we have like 110 people on this call, and a lot of people are kind of struggling towards the end of the year and then gaining momentum going into 2021. What is your advice for people? What can they do today that really will make like the 2021 kind of, you see that rise?
Listen, okay. So I'm going to be totally transparent with y'all. I've been tired. Like, my Success Club members show it. I've just been tired. Like, the energy in the world is just so off right now. And I am just exhausted. And I always tell people, you have to limit what you expose yourself to, the people you expose yourself to, because it can become emotionally draining. And so I have not wanted to do the things. Like, I have just been tired of people, like the energy has been off. But I came into my office yesterday and I said, okay, T, it's time. You didn't rest it for a while, because you can't be in 10X all the time, right? We just got off like maybe 9 weeks qualifying, because we went from qualifying from 6 to 7 to 8 to 9. And then after that, we were just tired, right? Shipping crazy, people with returns, like it was just a lot. And, I lost a lot of diamonds, just being real with you. I lost a lot of diamonds. And I didn't want to push them so much where they take the joy out of it. Like, I know it's a business, but I rather love on people and we just have fun, and then we kind of pick up. Like, I can't be I know some leaders are like that, and that's probably why they're top 10, and I'm great. I'm, proud of them. But sometimes my mental health just comes first, right? Now, that doesn't mean that I always invite, I always show up. That I'm not saying that, but sometimes I just have to breathe. So I've been breathing for like 3 or 4 weeks, and now it's time. So I'm like, I got my tracker out. Let me show y'all something. I got my tracker out yesterday. I'm so serious about this. Yesterday, I went and set an alarm for everything. Biz invites, breakfast, workout, check-in challenge group, lunch, team call, dinner, spend time with kids, spend time with my boo, take the kids on a walk. Like, literally. Because, like, okay, time to 10X again. Because what you do in November and December is going to translate into January. This business is not in real time, and it's a no business. So when you initially invite, all you're doing is sowing seed. I don't even expect people to say yes. That's why it's a numbers game, and you got to be inviting and connecting with a lot of people, because you have to have that in your pipeline, right? So when someone tells me no, cool, you're going over here for the follow-up, because I know once you come back around, the no just means not right now, next time. So I'll check on you next week, right? So when they swing back around, cool. So the people who are going to enroll in January are the people I connect with in November, December. You can't expect to wake up in January and just depend on, oh, it's the new year, everybody want to lose weight, it's a good time, but you ain't do nothing in November, December, right? So everybody most of my Success Club points for November and December are going to come from the people I invited in August, September, and October. So I'm inviting, I'm just sowing the seed. Boom, you said no, cool. But I know you're going to watch my stories, and I'm going to give you something to watch. You're going to watch my stories. I'm going to tackle objections. I'm going to show you my workout. I'm going to shout out my team. I'm going to talk about how this business has changed my life, how it can change your life. I'm going to talk to you. So come December, when I follow up with you, you're going to be ready to rock and roll come January. So if you've been resting like me, it's time to wake up. Like, you can't be in 10X, but you can be resting right now. Like November and December, you have to be showing up. And I don't show up about weight loss or weight gain. I say, hey, let's be in maintenance. Hey, you want to be a coach? Now is the best time to enroll, because you can go at your own pace, learning the business, doing a workout. Come January, you'll be familiar with the business, familiar with how things work, and you will be in place, ready to rock and roll. So that's how I'm pretty much saying it in my stories. Like, hey, November and December, we're just going to be in maintenance. We're just going to be going at your own pace, because come January, everybody and their mama is going to have a New Year's resolution to get fit. Gyms are going to be closed, and here you are in place, open for business. But it definitely starts right now.
Yes, I 100% agree. And I love that you said it's just time to wake up. And I think that's a message to every single person on this call right now. It's time to wake up, show up, stay consistent. So when January 1st comes, people are really banging down your door. So good. Artina, the message thread's blowing up here. Everyone thanking you. My Facebook message thread, I have people writing me on it. Like, thank you so much for having her on the call too. Like, it's blown up in all these areas. So we really, really appreciate all your words of wisdom and your fire behind this business. It's been great.
Hey, I don't want to miss anybody, but I think someone had asked, do I do any special recognition?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Incentives to keep, no. Like, you don't get a prize for going to work. So I don't do that. Now I may start, but right now I have a bunch of crumb snatchers that I'm responsible for. And here's the thing. I know that some of my coaches are driven by rewards. So I reward them in private. So I give gift cards to, if I know you shop here, I may send you a gift card just because I know you've been doing the work, and here it is. Some of my diamond coaches, I sent them a tripod. I sent a coach a ring light. Like, I don't blow it up, but I do it in the background. And what I send you is not like a cup. A cup is not going to help you run your business. I'm sending tripods, ring lights, gift cards so you can buy some workout clothes, like something that's going to help you and your business. Thus, it also comes back and helps me, right? Because now your lighting is better. Now your pictures are better because you have a tripod. But I do it on the background. I don't do the, and it's the reason why I don't really outside of my crumb snatchers is because, I shouldn't call them that, is because I support my whole downline. And I know right now my coaches, some of them aren't financially in a position to do the same thing. So I can't say, hey, we're going to gift coaches this week, and then they're left like, with that, I'm just trying to pay for Shakeology, right? So I don't do that. But I do recognize people in my stories. I cheer them on, like, in the group. But that's about it.
I love it. I love that you do the things that actually are going to benefit their business too. So smart. Love it all. Okay. Thank you so much, Artina. Seriously, gold. This was amazing. I took a page of notes. My inboxes are blowing up everywhere. We really appreciate it. Okay, right. Thank you guys, everyone. And we won't have a call next week because of Thanksgiving, but we'll follow up the week after. So Friday, same time, same Zoom link, and we'll send out who our guest is. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
All right.
Bye.